Shabbat Shalom. One of the songs that our davening team recorded for the high holidays was Shema Kolenu, hear our voice, Adonai, our God. So we say similar words throughout our whole service. Hear our voice, listen to us throughout our whole religious lives. We pray for peace, and we pray for an end to all of our troubles, for the troubles of the world. But then it doesn't always happen the way we want it to. It doesn't always resolve itself the way we'd hoped. Why? So our parsha this week, the children of Israel are in the worst possible condition, enslaved in Egypt. Their lives are embittered. And so their cries rise up to God. So it says God hears their groaning, and God remembers his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, with Jacob. And so finally, God looks upon the children of Israel, and God knows them. And then right after that, Moses is at the burning bush, and we have the whole story of the delivery. But what happened at that moment that God heard them? Why didn't God hear them before, hundreds of years before, when they were all slaves working in Egypt? So Rashi doesn't answer. Rashi doesn't have much to say about it. But he says that at that moment, when God finally did hear them, God directed his heart to them and did not hide his eyes from them. Perhaps God was hiding his eyes before. So others elaborate and say, well, was God purposely hiding his face not to see what was happening to the children of Israel through all those hundreds of years? Why? And most do not say either. There's still some who speak, and what they do say is, well, maybe there wasn't a lot of time for that slavery. They were fated to 400 years from the time Abraham was first told by God that they would be down in Egypt. But somehow it was just part of forming them, forming who they would be who we would be for the rest of our history. And at the very moment that time had elapsed, God did come down and stopped it all from happening. And also, they point out, it says that God knew. What does it mean that God knew? Well, God knew in the most close way, the most intimate knowledge, that God could feel the suffering and the pain, and he turned their attention to them. And so some say, Ramban Nachmanides in the Kabbalistic interpretation says that at that moment their pain, their groan was so powerful that it rose up to that part of God that is beyond justice, beyond nature, and it's just pure mercy and compassion that transcends all judgment, that highest part of God. And then straight down came Moses to help the children of Israel to get them out of there. And that their cries were heard, and it created this story that we still talk about thousands of years later in a moment. So we do not know why our prayers are not always heard. It's part of the nature of life and how we experience it. And there are certain things that happen perhaps because of free will and human beings just living out their free will, because of fate, because of what we need to learn in life. It's never a pleasant or easy lesson. Or perhaps God is not the way we think God is, but it's all more complicated beyond our understanding. And in the end, we do not know where our prayers go, but we do know that God is there with us in the suffering. We try to hold on to our faith that God's mercy is undiminished. And we keep praying our voice as we do. Hear our voice, Adonai our God. Spare us and have mercy upon us. Accept our prayers in mercy and favor, as we say during the high holidays. That somehow through the chasm, that the answer will come as it did then, however they heard it. Mysterious, inexplicable, powerful, saving. Shabbat Shalom.